Hi everybody. It doesn't matter if you've just started Unity or if you've been using it for many years, but there's always one more trick, one more shortcut, one more better way of doing something that you always find even if you've been looking at this for a long time. So here I collected 5 of those tricks that I find very useful, some of which I haven't known for most of my time working with Unity, and I hope that they are useful for you. Press the F key to focus on something in the scene view. So if I want to focus on this door, I select it, I press F, and my view changes to have this in the center and my rotation pivot around it. Did you know that you can also use this to follow an object while the scene is playing? So take this sphere, which I attach this standard script to so it moves around a little, and if I press play, you see that it moves in the scene view. Now, if I want to follow this, I can do it manual all the time. I can press F, it will focus on it and then it moves away, or I can press F 2 times and it will actually follow it. I can pan around it, I can zoom in and out, but the scene view will stay centered on this object that I've chosen until I click some. If you want to position objects precisely to each other, you need snapping. And there are 2 great ways to do snapping in Unity. The first is what you will find here under the snap settings, which you should set to the grid that your prefabs are built to if they are built to a grid. I'm using 3D Forge Village Interiors and they are built to this 0.25 grid that I've shown. So if I want to extend this library scene by adding a hallway here, I can drag the pieces that I want into the scene. I've done this already with this hallway piece here, and it will spawn at 0, 0, 0. Now I need to drag it into position. If I keep the Command key pressed while I drag, on Windows probably it's Control, you see that it snaps in these 0.25 increments. So I can very easily bring it just into the right position, and here we are. The other way to do it, especially if you have something that is already somewhere, not where you want, not on your grid, is vertex snapping. Vertex snapping is one of these tricks that even people who have been using Unity for years sometimes don't know about. So what we can do is we can press the V key to select any object, any vertex in the object, and we will select this one here at the bottom, and still keeping V pressed, now press the left mouse button, and then you can drag it around and it will snap to any vertex in the scene. And since these parts here are made of parts as well, there is a vertex here in the corner that I snap to, and I can position this prefab exactly where I want. The same is true with any interior objects. You can press V, you can select any, and you will always have it on the floor somewhere where there is a vertex. And of course you can position it like this on the floor and then drag it around normally to put it exactly where you want it in the scene. Is that the transform component actually does math. So what it exactly means, let me show you. Imagine that I want to move this carpet on the floor in my scene and I want to move it an exact amount in any direction. So this is my X direction and I can drag it around like this, and yeah, it kind of works. And I can drag it around with snapping if I'm working on a grid, but let's say that for whatever reason I want to move this exactly 0.3 units. I can change this here to 4.8, doing the math in my head. Okay, wonderful. But if it is something slightly more complicated, I can ask Unity to do it for me. I can say, okay, add 0.3, and it will do exactly that. And this works on everything. So if for some reason I want to blow up this chair, I want to make it twice as big, I can say 2, or I can say simply times 2. And Unity will do the math for me. Of course, in these very simple examples that I show here, you can do all of that in your head, but if you actually work on a Unity scene very fast, you will come into situations where you can't, where something is already scaled to some strange factor, you want to make it twice as big, and you can pick out a pocket calculator, or you can just tell Unity to multiline text into the inspector. I have an example here where I realize this is not the best because maybe you want to do internationalization and so on, but stay with me for this tip. So I have this simple script here which takes a title and a message, and as you can see here, there is not the usual string input window like here you see, but there is actually a multi-line window where I can type text, where it will actually honor my new lines, which is a big problem always with strings in the inspector. And I can enter the text as I want it to be shown, but still it is a nice string in the Unity script. And the magic for this is here in the script. All you need to do is right before this is in C#, right before you define your public variable, you use this qualifier, and it will tell Unity that in the inspector it should show a text area with these dimensions. And there you have it. Wonderful way to input multiline text. Sometimes when you work with objects, you have a lot of variables that are private, but still you would like to see them in the inspector sometimes if you're debugging something. So over here, for example, I have this here we go. I have this treasure chest with a trigger attached with a small script, and additionally to all these public variables, it also has a few hidden ones, and up here there is a small icon that you can sometimes miss, and here you can switch to debug view. And in debug view, a lot of additional information is visible, including all the private variables. So these which get assigned at runtime, for example, I can see here in the inspector now, if I go to debug view, I can see if everything is right without turning my variables into public variables just because I want to see them. If you've enjoyed the tricks, let me know in the comments below. If you have any others, post them in the comments as well. And if you want to learn more about Unity, especially if you just get started, I am producing some courses and lectures about Unity, especially aimed at beginners. The link is in the description below. Follow it to Udemy, where I post these courses. And if there's anything else that you would like me to talk about in Unity, post a comment below, let me know, maybe I will make a video about it.